Yo, okay. All right. Listen. Hey man. Listen. I couldn't let what I just saw go down without talking to y'all. I couldn't let go down what I just saw without talking to y'all. I'm John Brown. This is John Brown the podcast. This is the first emergency pod I've done since I've been rolling solo. This is the first emergency pod I've done since I've been rolling solo because what I just saw might have been the greatest choke since the Chris Webber timeout. What I saw might have been the biggest blunder in a clutch situation since the Mark Sanchez butt fumble. If you got one, give it to me. I'm John Brown. This is the John Brown podcast. If you new to the show, or if you following it on X, or if you following it on the Sporting Tribune, so shout out to the folks at the Sporting Tribune. We might have some of those guys come on. We might not. We might have John Gennaro come on. We might not. It don't matter. It don't matter, man. Arash just hit me. He said, "Hold on, let me read it to myself." Listen, man. Listen. Hold on. I'm trying to tell. I'm trying to tell people. I'm trying to spread the word, bro. All right. So now check this out. Okay. Let me tell you something now. First of all, I know New York going crazy right now. So shout out to the Knicks. Before I do anything, we're here. It's a live podcast. The Knicks win 105-104. The Spurs choked this game away. They choked this game away in spectacular fashion. Shout out to the Knicks for winning this game. Shout out to Karl Anthony Towns for outplaying Victor Wembanyama for the second game in a row. If you told me, or if I told you that Victor Wembanyama would be outplayed by Karl Anthony Towns 2 games in a row in the NBA Finals, you would have told me I'm crazy. You would have told me I'm stupid. You would have told me I'm off the meth, bruh. But here we are 2 games later, and Karl Anthony Towns has outplayed Victor Wembanyama. Easily. Don't Victor Wembanyama's stats tonight. Let me read Victor Wembanyama's stats to you, right? So if you didn't see the game, you missed it for whatever reason, and you're just finding out the Spurs lost by a point at home in game 2. They're now down 2-0. The Knicks lead the series 2-0. If I told you Victor Wembanyama had 29 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, 4 blocks. If I told you that, you'd be like, damn, he had a good game. Unless you were actually watching the game. That's a beautiful box score for Victor Wembanyama. Beautiful box score. And on the adverse to that, Karl Anthony Towns, 21 points, 3 threes, 3 for 5 from 3, 13 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, plus 11 and plus minus. So if you just read that, even in a box score, Karl Anthony Towns outplayed you. It wasn't that close. It wasn't even that close. Victor Wembanyama, and I wish I could give you these videos, but if you watched the game and you came here, shout out to you. If you watched this game, you saw probably the most cowardice pass you have ever seen. When a guy is a star, the other players on the team, when it comes down to last play, tie game, they let you rock. If they trust you, they let you rock. They're not looking for the ball. They're looking to get in position for whatever you need on the other end. He threw that ball to Stephon Castle, who wasn't looking for that ball because Wemby got the rebound. Wemby been dribbling rebounds up the court all year long. They played 82 games in the regular season. They played 5 games in the first round. They played 6 games in the second round. They played 7 games in the third round. They now played 2 games in the finals. They're not looking for Wemby to pass them the ball with the game on the line like that. They not, man. So when you see Wemby get the rebound and you see no point guard, you see no guard run to the ball to get the ball from him, there's a specific reason why. Because Wemby been grabbing that rebound down and dribbling that ball up the court all season long. But now the money's on the table. Now we need to see what you built. Now we need to see what you like. If you really like that, Wemby, now we need to see if you really like that. And I thought you was, dog. I thought you was. I thought you was, bruh. There's a saying where I'm from, man, that pressure busts pipes. It's water all over the floor in San Antonio right now, bruh. It's water all over the floor. You better hope it wasn't a sewage pipe. Pressure busts pipes. And they need to call the fucking Mario Brothers right now because there's water everywhere. You can't. Nah, bruh. This game on Wemby. This game on Wemby. I ain't got no graphics. I don't need no graphics. I watched the game, and if you here right now, that means you watched the game. Shout out to the folks at the Sporting Tribune. If you're new to the show, I'm John Brown. It's the John Brown Podcast. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to the show. I really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 300 subscribers so I can, analytic this thing to the top. But the last two Spurs possessions of that game were utterly unexcusable. In addition to that, now you foul Wemby. They get to the line. They missed the free throw. So now it's a 1-point game. Here's your redemption. Here's the redemption arc. Now Wemby can redeem himself at the NBA Finals, making a game-winning shot. You know who does that? The legends. I don't want to hear about how old he is. I don't care about that. You playing right now. And you might never get this again. You may never get this opportunity again because that's how sports works. Injuries happen, trades happen, other players from better teams, guys team up. It's year to year. Championships are year to year. Last year, they were telling y'all how the Oklahoma City Thunder about to go on some 10-year run. Then the Spurs showed up. Then Wemby showed up and erased whatever they doing. So now they got to go back to the drawing board. So I don't want to hear about, next year. I'm talking about right now. Right now, buddy, you got outplayed by Karl Anthony Towns. And it comes down to it. They put Mitchell Robinson in the game. So now it's Mitchell Robinson, bang, you get the ball at the elbow. Perfect position for you. Floor spaced out. You can 1 dribble, 2 dribble, step back. You could do a lot. You could get to the basket, you 7'4". I never seen that guy. Listen, you 7'4" for a reason, man. You 7'4", dog. He playing like he's 6'7". He playing like he my height right now. I said it a long time ago. This series is going to be about either it's the size of the boat or it's the motion in the ocean. The motion in the ocean is Jalen Brunson. The size of the boat is Victor Wembanyama, bro. And it's all Jalen Brunson right now. It's all New York right now. 2-0 because you choking, big dog. You got to call it what it is. You choking, my boy. Period. End of story. Victor Wembanyama just had one of the greatest choke moments in a championship situation we may have ever seen. Can you think of one in the NBA Finals where the guy gets the rebound, final possession, 105, he passed the ball to a guy not even looking? That's what they call pressure. That's what they call pressure, people. That's crazy to me. Listen, I'm a Victor Wembanyama fan. I've been singing his praises. He's the best thing since sliced bread in basketball, dog. He must see TV. He the best thing since Braun. I've been telling folks this man the best thing since Braun. So I'm hyping him. But when you drop the ball like this, bro, I gotta call you out. Bro, I gotta criticize. It's fair. It is what it is. I watched the games. Y'all watched the games. We didn't see the box score. I guarantee you, for the most of that game, you were asking yourself, damn, where's Wemby? I see him. There's a thing called bad calories in sports. There's a thing called garbage time stats. Victor Wembanyama, for a large portion of this game, I just got a hilarious text. I would read you, but I'm not. I literally almost laughed doing this show about the text I just got, but I'm not gonna do that because it has nothing to do with what I'm yelling about. So Victor Wembanyama had the game in his hands and he tried to pass that ball like it was a hot potato. Look at every game this year the Spurs have played, good and bad, indifferent. Victor Wembanyama gets the ball. He dribbles the ball up the court in key situations. He battles for this rebound. And he passed that ball like it was hot. Now, maybe Stephon Castle didn't want that ball either. Maybe nobody around him wanted that ball. But Victor Wembanyama passed that ball to a guy who wasn't even looking. Victor Wembanyama passed that ball to somebody with zero eye contact. You know what that is? That's panic. You know what that is? That's pressure. This was something I didn't think I would see this Spurs team succumb to. That's pressure, dog. That's pressure. That's on him. That's on him. And again, like I said, they make a free throw, they miss a free throw. Y'all get the rebound. Luke Cornett, Richard Jefferson was somebody, it was a kick, but ain't nobody calling no kick at that point. Shout out to the referees, too. Two things about the referees tonight. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the referees, but I'm going to give the referees credit for one thing, but then I'm going to ding them for another thing. The referees tried so hard to save the Spurs in the third quarter. You watched it. You saw it. The tech that they gave to Mitchell Robinson, some of the foul calls that they gave Wemby. The NBA, I'm going to say the NBA did this, but the San Antonio Spurs were given favor by the referees in the third quarter. It was visible. The way the whistle swung in the third quarter of that game, it was, and I'm not a Knicks fan. I hate the Knicks. So don't get this twisted. But I'm telling you what I saw. I've been watching basketball for 30 years. I'm telling you what I saw, okay? The referees tried their best to let the Spurs stay in the game by giving them the whistle at home. And it wasn't enough in that particular point in time because the Spurs really didn't get cooking till you see where they cut to Wemby. And now here Wemby go giving another goddamn speech on the sideline in the huddle. Bro, I don't want to hear no more speeches from you. If I'm on the team with Wemby, bro, cut the fucking speeches out. Cut the speeches out, dog. Play. Get us some buckets. Because he plays defensively. This isn't a critique on his defense. This is a critique on the buckets side of the floor. I could not believe he butt fumbled the game away. Chris Webber timed out the game, dog. The Wemby back pass. I don't know what they're going to call it. It's going to get a name after this. You will see that pass. You will see this Victor Wembanyama pass where it hits somebody and it hits Stephon Castle. If I am 100% sure, I think that who it was. You will see this ball hitting Stephon Castle in the back if the Spurs do not win this series. And right now, I don't see how they can. Yes, they can, because again, they lost the first game because Brunson went on a run. They lost this game because Wemby threw it away. So it's not like the Knicks have a 2-0 lead, which feels commanding. But they're literally one choke play away from the series being 1-1 on their way back to New York. And I do believe that the Spurs can't win in New York. Man, boy, this pass will be played throughout Victor Wembanyama's career. This pass will be played, again, I repeat, throughout Victor Wembanyama's career if this makes a turn for the worse for him. And I don't think it will. But when they say young players in the NBA have to experience pain before they experience joy, they have to experience the sour before they experience the sweet. That's got to be what this is, because man, that was a choke. Wemby has been dribbling the ball after rebounds up the court, similar to what Draymond Green does. It's part of the Spurs' offensive design when they're attacking, because they have 5 guys who can pass, dribble, and shoot. And so when the 7-4 guy gets the ball and he can bring it up, that adds to the mix that makes them harder to defend. That's why Stephon Castle never turned around. That's why De'Aaron Fox never came to the ball like, hey, ball. That's why the point guards never did that. Because Wemby can bring the ball up the court, especially with Cat or Mitchell Robinson guarding him, which was the case in that situation. But pressure, water everywhere, pipe busted. Call Mario and Luigi. Boop, 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 boop. Cannot believe what I just saw. Let's talk about the final shot. Because I ain't going to keep y'all long. This is a rant. I'm on a full rant. I'm running on a rant right now. So, this is pure comedy to me. It's just utter comedy to me. So Victor Wembanyama, 7'4", gets the ball on the elbow. Finally, Mitch Johnson runs the play that makes sense. Victor Wembanyama gets the ball on the elbow against Mitchell Robinson. There's nothing wrong with a jab step jump shot. That's probably the rhythm in which he's made most of his shots in practice. That's probably something he's comfortable with that he's been doing throughout his young career in basketball. But when you put the ball on the floor in that particular situation, you got to go to the basket, 7'4". 9-foot standing reach. You got to go to the basket with that 9-foot standing reach. Mitchell Robinson ain't finna block your shot. Unless you scared. Unless you looking for the easy way out. If you the Spurs, you give your mans the ball. Yeah, that's what I would have done if I was on the team. If I'm Mitch Johnson, I'm drawing up a play to get it to Victor. Because now you need redemption for that pass. If Victor Wembanyama makes that shot, I don't do this podcast. I'm not talking about that pass. But that pass was a window into what's up here. He could give all the speeches he wants during timeouts. We can praise Victor Wembanyama, and we absolutely certainly should, for his passion, whether it be through tears or whether it be through exuberance. We can continue to praise Victor Wembanyama for what he is representing in the form of an NBA basketball player and what he means to the league, what he means to the global brand of basketball. We can continue to praise him for that. But tonight, choke job. Sorry, I gotta call it. I gotta call it like I see it, man. That's what I saw. Choke job. You know, folks can get mad at me. And you know, it is what it is. You can say, oh, well, he's only 20. Age don't matter, bro. Everybody on the court, they don't take IDs before you get on the court. Can you hoop? Those stats he had tonight, empty calories. De'Aaron Fox got them through that game. De'Aaron Fox, Stephen Castle, Dylan Harper, these guys grinded that lead down through defense, turnovers, and fast break baskets. De'Aaron Fox was huge tonight. He was invisible in game one. De'Aaron Fox was huge tonight. Huge. And before I get back to him, let me talk about Karl-Anthony Towns. What a great series for Karl-Anthony. What a way to build your name, big fella. Because I'm not a Karl-Anthony Towns fan. I've been talking crazy about Karl-Anthony Towns for about, 5 years. I've been telling folks I'm not impressed with Karl-Anthony Towns for a long time. But he proven me wrong. Shout out to Karl-Anthony Towns for stepping up and actually meeting the moment. This is a huge thing for me when I talk about guys in sports. You got to meet the moment. Karl-Anthony Towns right now is meeting the moment for the New York Knicks. If you're asking me, Jalen Brunson won game one, Cat won game two. If we're talking about horse race for NBA Finals MVP, it's Karl-Anthony Towns, dog. It's Karl-Anthony Towns. Because when Brunson went down in game one, who sustained that? Who was the bridge between there and when he came back? Karl-Anthony Towns was. Who came out cooking in tonight's game? Karl-Anthony Towns. I've been dogging Karl-Anthony Towns for a long time, bro. I've been talking sideways about Karl-Anthony Towns for a long time, bro. You a man, dog. You the man. Shout out to Karl-Anthony Towns, dog. I got to call it like I see it. Karl-Anthony Towns is outplaying. We're actually getting a big man battle. At one point in the fourth quarter, Karl-Anthony Towns went 1-on-1 in a post against Victor Wembanyama. So now that tells you something right there. Now, it ended up being a turnover because, Cat started feeling himself a little too much. But when Karl-Anthony Towns goes, nah, I'm finna hit the block. Get it to me. That's Wemby. They testing your heart. Cat trying to Chet Holmgren you, dog. Chet trying to Karl-Anthony Towns is trying to Chet Holmgren you, Wemby. He get the ball on the block and he looking at Wemby like, bro, you cooked. I mean, he turned the ball over, but the stones on Karl Anthony Towns. The stones on Karl Anthony Towns right now on the road in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Boy, wait till he get back to New York. Boy, wait till Karl Anthony Towns. And listen, normally I would have some type of feminine joke about Karl Anthony Towns. I would insert some type of insult. I can't. Normally at this point, I would clown Karl Anthony Towns. Can't do it. He stayed away mostly for the first 2 games away from dumb fouls. Josh Hart was making those fouls tonight. Shout out to Josh Hart for trying to foul out, just to collect the check. But, Josh Hart amazing in Game 1. He gave you the Keldon Johnson performance in Game 2. Foul, foul, foul. But this is about Karl Anthony Towns. Never thought I would say this about Karl Anthony Towns, man. He outplaying Wemby. Karl Anthony, if I told you that before the series started, you'd have told me Knicks finna sweep these boys. Knicks might sweep these boys. Now, I can't believe those words just came out of my mouth. Knicks might sweep these boys. Because Wemby looked stunned throughout the game. Wemby looked like he didn't know what hit him throughout the game. Wemby looked like the armor of success that he's gotten to this point. The invincibility you feel sometimes as an athlete when you get going. How you really feel like we're the better team and we'll figure this out. Boy, that looked like they got popped tonight. It looked like he thought he was going to come out and impose his will on this game. And Karl Anthony Towns said, nah, buddy, not against me. Not tonight. The New York Knicks looked at him and said, not tonight. Now, again, I'm not a fan of the Knicks at all in any way, shape, or form. I love the city of New York. I love the New York fan base. I love how bananas they got to be right now on the streets. I love all that about the Knicks. The Knicks are a great basketball fan base, not organization. They're a great fan base. They love the game. They're smart about the game. Madison Square Garden finna be jumping. Matt, you might need the National Guard to start Game 3. You might need the armed services to patrol the streets in New York for Game 3. Because ain't nothing gonna be able to hold them folks back. Nothing. I can't wait. I can't wait for Game 3, man. Monday night, I'm gonna be in front of a television. Because that thing gonna be rocking, dog. That thing gonna be rocking. The hoop's still gonna be 10 feet. The court's still gonna be 94 feet. But man, listen, I'm not a big believer in stadiums and crowds playing. I'm not into that. The crowd doesn't scare me per se. I think it's gonna get the Spurs. I think it's gonna get Wemby. Because if you choke at home, Victor Wembanyama, man, what you gonna do on the road? Man, what you gonna do? What you gonna do in Madison Square Garden when the temperature gonna be higher than it's ever been in that building? The Knicks are going home with a 2-0 lead. Boy, you know how hot it's gonna be in there? You know that if y'all think that ticket price high, talk to me Sunday night. Talk to me Monday morning when the scalpers got 2 for you. Talk to me on Monday afternoon at 5 p.m. when the scalpers got 2 for you. If scalping is even still a thing. Can't believe what I saw tonight. Can't believe it. I'm a huge Wemby fan. I am a huge, huge Victor Wembanyama fan. But I was also a huge Chris Webber fan. And a choke is a choke. I'm not a huge Mark Sanchez fan, but butt fumble. I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to think of things that could that I could compare to this. Like you can't do the Buffalo Bills or the Florida State wide right. You can't do that because that happened that wasn't a choke job. That's just a guy missing a kick. That's just guys missing kicks. This guy, there was no pressure on him. He didn't have to pass the ball. No one was expecting for him to pass the ball. The guy's the face of the NBA. Nobody's expecting the face of the NBA to pass that ball. And here's what I say to you. LeBron gets that rebound. You think he passes it that fast at that point? Luka Doncic gets that rebound. He passing that ball that fast at that point. Steph Curry get that rebound. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm doing right now? Anthony Edwards gets that rebound. He passing it. Joker get that rebound. Is he passing it? Giannis get that rebound. Is he passing it? Nah. Nah. What a night. What a game. What a series. This series has been everything you asked for. You got a clutch performance in game one. You got a historic moment in game two. In game three, you going into the livest arena in the NBA with the wildest crowd in the NBA. Rabid. Just rabid, dog. MM forever, dog. I appreciate you being here. We're not talking about the Super Bowl right now. Bears Chargers Super Bowl. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the Wemby choke job, dog. I appreciate you being here, but we can't do that right now. We can't have that conversation at this point in time. Game three finna be everything. Game three is the most important game of this series. Because if the Spurs don't win game three, it's over. You know it's over. I know it's over if the Spurs don't win game three. The Spurs got to do the impossible. They went from having to do the improbable to now they got to do the impossible. Maybe. Wouldn't be shocked if it did turn out that way. Wouldn't be shocked. At the start of this, I said Spurs in 6, maybe Spurs in 7. Man, if it's Knicks in 4, hats off to the Knicks for proving me wrong. I've been talking crazy about all these media heads and all these folks in New York and ESPN telling me how great the Knicks are and the Knicks are something special, and I didn't see it. So I'm like, who they beat? They beat the Cavs who quit. They beat the Sixers who quit. The Hawks gave them a run for their money. The Spurs are better than any team they've played. They've shown themselves to be better than the Spurs. And Jalen Brunson didn't even play that well tonight. The guy who closed you out in game one, who was out there doing the Brunson game time. He didn't even play well tonight. Let me look at Brunson's numbers. He didn't even play well tonight. Jalen Brunson had 20 points. He shot 7 for 25, 2 fade from 3. Where's the turnover? 4 turnovers, 5 steals for Brunson. Brunson was a -10 tonight, dog. Jalen Brunson was a -10, dog. They still won the game. Spurs might be cooked. Dog. Jalen Brunson was a -10 and plus-minus tonight. I ain't going to explain plus-minus to y'all. It's pretty simple. I didn't even know that. I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't know Jalen Brunson, I could tell, I could sense that he wasn't, controlling the game. Shout out to Stephen Castle's defense on him. Unbelievable. Those will be fouls in New York. Trust me. But again, I got to say this one more time. Shout out to the referees. This is the way the game, let the players win the game, even though, like I said, in the third quarter, they did the best they possibly could to make the Spurs even this series up. And for whatever reason, the Spurs said, nah. We can't do that. They wouldn't let them. Spurs wouldn't let the referees help them. I mean, the refs were giving out mystery texts, calling fouls in a game that looked like a rugby game at one point. And parts of this game, which, again, I absolutely love. So, again, I'm not criticizing the referees. I love this. Parts of this game, it looked like a rugby match. No fouls called. And then somewhere in the third quarter, it got real ticky-tacky. Real ticky-tacky, Jack. And I was like, I don't know. Wasn't enough. Damn it wasn't enough, man. Shout out to the Spurs. Because now they got to come up big. They got to come up real big. I'm getting texts from my friends over here at the Sporting Tribune. Calling Wemby. Mikhail says he's a small forward, power forward. He needs to be a power forward center. Man, at this point out there on the court, Wemby looking like a small forward shooting guard, dog. I rough watch. The way that game ended, man, I I don't know what to tell y'all. That was rough. That was rough. I, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. No, but hey, listen, I appreciate you being here, San Diego Fan 44, but we're not talking about that tonight. We're not talking about the Padres being ass. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the Wemby game, dog. I didn't even watch the Padres game. I'm watching Spurs Knicks, the NBA Finals. It's regular season baseball game number 59. Not watching it. No disrespect to the Padres. I watched the replay. I got it on the DVR. According to where y'all talking, it wasn't even worth watching. What we saw tonight from Victor Wembanyama has to call into question how we view him going forward. He's got he's gotta have a gargantuan effort in game 3. For us to get that little MIB, like what's the nebulizer? I think it's called a nebulizer. Whatever that thing is called, an MIB where they put it in your face and you forget what happened. Man, game 3 got to be big for him. Man, game 3 got to be big for him. And again, LeBron James went on to become one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player. He's had the greatest career in NBA history. I don't think he's the greatest player. I think that's Michael Jordan. But LeBron's had one of the greatest careers in NBA history, if not the greatest career in NBA history. And he got swept in the finals by the Spurs his first time out as young Bron. But Bron wasn't 7-4. Bron wasn't going against experience. Bron wasn't going against the guy who already had championships. I mean, Bron was going against guys who already had championships. Wemby not. Wemby playing with a bunch of guys who knew to this just like him. Jalen Brunson ain't never been there. Karl-Anthony Towns ain't never been there. Landry Shamet ain't there. Like, these guys ain't never been there. They ain't never been the guy in this situation. Until right now, and they showing up. Karl-Anthony Towns outplayed Victor Wembanyama. For the people in the back, for the folks who just showed up here, and shout out to y'all because y'all killing it right now by showing up. Shout out to everybody on X who joined me from the Sporting Tribune. I'm John Brown. This is the John Brown Podcast. I do this every Monday through Friday to 10 a.m. until I get, out of topics to talk about or comments to read. So it's usually about 45 to 50 minutes. You can subscribe to the show on the John Brown Podcast at YouTube. I'd appreciate that so we can continue to grow that thing. But, man, if y'all here for the first time, welcome. If y'all here for the first time, welcome. Come on over to this YouTube page and toss a comment in here. Tell me what you saw, what I saw. Because I saw some choking. I saw some choking, boy. Victor Wembanyama passing that ball to Stephen Castle, not looking. Victor Wembanyama then gets the chance at redemption and shoots a fadeaway jump shot. Times are changing. I get it. He's a different kind of player. He's 7'4". He don't play like the traditional 7'4". I understand the big men are different here. But Karl-Anthony Towns was on the block calling for that thing. In the fourth quarter, Karl-Anthony Towns, cat of all people, went one-on-one with the ball against Wemby on the block. Karl-Anthony Towns felt that confident against Victor Wembanyama to go, yo, low block, ball. Next one, hey, whoa, give it to him. Now it resulted in a turnover. But the fact that he had the balls to do that, the fact that Karl-Anthony Towns was feeling it so much, the fact that Karl-Anthony Towns knew in his spirit, I'm outplaying you. I think I'm finna Chet Holmgren you. Going to the block, ball. This after OG had dunked on him. This after Karl-Anthony Towns had dunked on him in the first quarter. So that when I'm telling y'all Wemby stats with empty calories, I'm telling y'all I'm watching the game. I'm telling y'all watching the game. You watching the game just like me, and you looking like, damn, they taking it to Wemby. They taking it to his chest. OG dunked on him. Both feet in the paint. Karl-Anthony Towns, first half, dunk on him. Stare at him. Start telling the Knicks bench, can't see me, can't guard me. Who is he? It's Karl Anthony Towns talking about Victor Wembanyama. Who is he? Chet Holmgren, I hope you watching. Chet Holmgren, I hope you watching. There may be hope for you after all. You need to call Cat. Because Cat sized them up. I almost fell out my chair. Cat went low post on Wemby. The best defender in the league, defensive player of the year. Cat went, nah, man, I ain't trying to hear none of that. Fuck all that. Low block, ball. It was a turnover again. But that's not the point. That's not the point. We've watched players run into the paint, see Victor Wembanyama, and U-turn. Like the dad in Friday when Debo knocked out his son. You want some of this, old man? No. That's how people turn around when they see Wemby in the post, dog. They see Wemby in the paint. No. U-turn. Right back out where you came from. Not Karl Anthony Towns. Not Cat. Cat said, no. I got you. I might have got your number. Now serving one ball. Low block. And it's not that I'm not tripping on the turnover. I'm not. It's this. The heart. It's this. The psyche. God, this series got good. Man, this series is so, I mean, the Knicks might sweep them. I don't know. But we're going to need a gargantuan effort, bro. We're going to need a gargantuan effort, dog. Oh. Hey, bro, listen, MMF forever, bro. I got to tell you, I'm looking at different stats than you. It's the largest audience I've ever had watching this show. The stats that you're seeing and the stats that I'm seeing, totally different. Okay? Again, come Monday, we can talk about the Padres. We can talk about the Chargers, bro. We could do all that. I'm not here. I'm here because of what happened in the NBA Finals game. We can get back to that on Monday. We can have that conversation on Monday. I love you, Forever. Respect, love. I appreciate you come to the show. We're not talking about this right now. We talk about what we just saw. And if you didn't see that game, you might want to turn on ESPN. You might want to turn it on ESPN Forever because the turnover Wemby made tonight was gargantuan. The turnover was otherworldly. And I've given a lot of people flack for this. I've given Mitch Johnson a lot of flack for this series and the way he played, but he called the good play. That last play to get Wemby the ball on the elbow. You know, they can lead you to water, dog. They can't make you drink. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. It's been crazy. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all for coming through tonight, man. I really do. I fuck with y'all for coming through tonight, man. It's crazy right now. It really is. It really is. What a choke job by Victor Wembanyama tonight, man. Never thought I'd say that. Never thought that they would come. Never thought that they would come. I see Cat outplaying Victor Wembanyama in back-to-back games. Headed home to probably the most raucous crowd we may have ever seen. Now, there's a debate, and this debate is what I like to have with people. When you get to this point where tickets are $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $150,000 for third row seats, $500,000 for second row seats, those are not the fans who, yell their head off. Those ain't the people outside going bing bong, outside of Madison Square Garden. Those ain't those folks. Those ain't the real Knicks fans. But man, listen. Woo. The Garden gonna be a powder keg on Monday, man. Monday night, the anticipation, the energy built in that building. It's gonna be a pressure like no one in that building's ever had before. The Knicks have never came home 2-0 with Game 3 in their building to put a stranglehold on a series. This has never happened for the New York Knicks. This has never ever happened for the Knicks. And now you finna find yourself in that situation. If you Victor Wembanyama, if you Stephon Castle, if you Devin Fox, if you Mitch Johnson, who've had his hat handed to him, he's been out coached left and right in this series. I mean, listen, sometimes you can't get a job to an understudy, man. Sometimes you got to test them. Sometimes you got to test them through the fire, dog. Sometimes you got to go through the fire. Miss Johnson getting torched right now by Mike Brown or Mr. Potato Head. Mike Brown of all people. Mr. Potato Head cooking you. Crazy right now. Mike Brown cooking Miss Johnson. Cat cooking Wemby. Wow. I'm telling you, man, we just watched the game where Jalen Brunson did not play well. Jalen Brunson's plus minus was a 10. He played 38 minutes. It's not one of those games where he had an ankle injury or a knee. It was none of that. Jalen Brunson played this game from beginning to end. He was available the entire time. Never went to the back until it was halftime, until that thing was over. And he was a minus 10. He was a minus 10. This game's about Victor Wembanyama. Oof. Oof. I'll see y'all on Monday, man. I'll see y'all on Monday. Big game coming up on Monday. Again, I'm John Brown. This has been the John Brown Podcast, Emergency Edition, courtesy of the Sporting Tribune. My guys usually do a show. They usually do a Sporting Tribune show, live show, every Monday through Thursday. Friday, they usually take off. So I couldn't let this night go by without talking about it, man. So I appreciate all y'all for showing up on the Sporting Tribune. I see y'all on Monday, man. I'll see y'all on Monday. What a night. What a night. What a choke by Victor Wembanyama.